You're listening to Polished Woman, only on LA Talk Radio.
What's my song? Where's my song? We are live! Yay! If you have any questions, if you wanna, you can post or send a message down below wherever you can see it. You will see it. You can send a message. Facebook Live. Okay, college advice. Yay! I'm going to college.
Victory is here.
I know that a lot of my friends are watching right now. Hello! If you're a parent, sending your children off to college can be a great experience. It's like sending them off to start the next chapter of their lives. Realistically, though, it can also be scary because you don't always know exactly what you're sending them into, or if it's going to be an environment that's healthy for them. And before you ever send them off, there's so much that you have to think about in terms of their grades, what schools they're looking at, and what makes the most sense for your family. So today, I am joined by the incredible and the owner of the founder of Magellan College Counseling, Evelyn Alexander. Hello, Evelyn. And of course, my good friend Deborah Spungin, a woman who's already sent one child off to college, and now she has a second one going to college. So, and I talked to her about this. She did so much stuff that's why I invited her over. Hello, Deb.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh! Thank you both for coming. And before we get started, I think we have to talk about this college cheating scandal that recently came to light, with some people spending millions of dollars to get their kids into schools. Evelyn, let's start with you.
Yep.
What was the reaction when when the whole thing came out?
Right. So what we're talking about in the college counseling community is, I mean, the fundamental problem that this scandal rested on was that people are totally fixated on having their kids go to super top colleges.
Yeah.
And I always say my message in life, my goal is to help people understand that there are literally 2,200 four-year colleges in the United States. It's a lot of choices, and the goal of the process of applying to college should be more about figuring out what's right for your child than figuring out what bumper sticker you want to have on your car.
Oh, I love that. It's true. Actually true. Oh my gosh. How about you, Deb? Is there something about you were aware of, and how it made you feel about the whole scandal? Because I know you work so hard for your daughter.
No,
she worked so hard.
The conduct alleged was incredibly shocking. Yeah. But I really see how this process pushes a lot of families to the brink, and just to the point of making them do things that are it's very stressful for the student, but also for the parents.
Absolutely.
It is, right?
And, it is.
And you start what year do you usually start? When they as soon as they go to freshman or sophomore or junior, what year do you normally, let's start checking on colleges and schools?
So we don't have to talk college in 9th grade, but we do like to have a conversation with parents about what your 4 years of high school curriculum are going to look like, if we can sort of plan out the 4 years. And then first conversation, end of 8th grade, beginning of 9th grade, we can talk to them about extracurricular activities, just to help make sure that parents know you don't have to do every extracurricular activity. You need to do like 2 or 3 really deeply. You don't have to do 10. So if we can start on those in 9th grade and carry through all 4 years of high school, that's going to look stronger.
Oh, so you don't wait for the last minute.
Exactly. Never.
No.
Oh.
Starting early.
Did you start early?
We started early. I would say we started really thinking about it in 9th grade. In 10th grade, we did take a college trip to start thinking about it. It was considered early, but there's only so many vacation times and times when you can do this, with your students. So then after the summer after senior year, then we started on the application. So starting in the summer.
Summer after junior year.
Junior year, right, before she was a senior. summer after junior year so that she would be ready to go in the fall.
I would say one more thing about that stress that parents feel. So one of the things that we like to focus on is if we can stretch out the process and sort of move some of the stressful points a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So one of those stress points is testing, right?
Okay.
When am I supposed to take the SAT or ACT? So when we do get the chance to talk to 9th and 10th graders, if they've taken Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, they're ready to start prepping for SAT or ACT. So instead of waiting till the end of junior year when we've got all sorts of other stuff going on and APs and craziness, we can pull that a little bit earlier. It relieves some of the stress from later.
Oh, okay. So you can actually take your test now
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
they're
thought you
offered
had
like
to wait
7 times a year.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, Brianna and Courtney, has Courtney like
so Courtney
started?
actually is
She's
taking
in
it for, she's a junior.
She's a junior,
and
right?
she's
Yeah.
taking the ACT for the first time next weekend. So we will be officially starting.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, well, actually, my daughter can already take it if
So
she
she's
want
what?
to.
What year is she?
She's freshman, but she's freshman this year.
So I probably wouldn't recommend a freshman take
Okay,
the
so
SAT,
maybe,
even if they have the math, because we need them to get up to speed with their reading comprehension.
Okay.
So usually I wouldn't recommend before middle to the end of 10th grade. We usually have 10th graders take some practice exams to kind of see if they're ready.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. So, Evelyn, do you think that a part of the problem was parents wanting their kids to go to specific schools, or do you think it was just about wanting their kids to go to a college in general, whatever happened?
No. It was definitely the first. It was definitely they had this vision in their head, of some top.
That's so true.
Top ranked schools,
Yeah.
and we are, everyone in college counseling. The college people and counselors, both of us, we call ourselves different sides of the desk. We all hate the rankings. The rankings don't tell you if a college is right for you. So again, this process really needs to be, I know it's so hard as a parent to see this beautiful human being that you from an itty bitty baby.
Yeah,
and
you
now
raised,
And now they're 15, 16, 17, and I know this is so hard for parents to grasp, but they're going to be a human. They're going to be their own person. And so just giving them some of the power to control the process is really the best way to go. I know it's super hard.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, well, I'll tell you about what I did for my daughter. But with you, did you choose for your for your first child? Did you choose the school for her, or you both agreed, or it's because it's the only school that she was accepted?
No, we had a lot of conversations about what she was really looking for in this experience.
Yeah.
I really tried to let her take the lead on it.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of conversations about, did she want to go out of state?
Yeah.
What part of the country? What size school?
Yeah.
Did she want access to a big city? What were the things that she was looking for?
Yeah.
And so we came up with a list of about 8 schools that she applied to, but she did fall in love with one particular school, which is, and she applied early.
Yes.
So she did something called early decision.
Oh, that's
where,
good.
That's good, yeah.
You tell the school that if you get accepted, you will go there, and
Okay.
you will pull the rest of your application. So she found out in December of her senior year, which was really nice.
Oh my
So
God,
we had an early
December! That's
answer.
really, really early. Oh,
It was great that she knew, and we could just
you
exhale.
guys, exhale, relax, and you know where you're going. I'm gonna have to ask you the whole details with the whole college thing later on.
Yes,
that's because that's the fun part, right?
is
When you're like, oh, I got accepted, so what do we do now? How do we get how do we order the stuff? Because I know that the things in the dorm are not included, right?
No, you get about 5 pieces of
Okay,
furniture.
I
and
need-
that's it.
That's it.
Bed Bath & Beyond becomes your best friend.
Yes,
right?
it does.
That's
we were
what
there.
I
I
heard.
don't know if you have them as a sponsor, but you should.
I know. That's what I heard. My friend just
There's
told
a
me
whole
that.
system.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! So wait, I want to ask this. So you start on when you're sophomore, you start taking the SAT, and then does that they say that it's good for you to do community services and stuff. Is that real? My daughter did that.
Yeah.
because she went to a junior college first,
Right.
and then because we're not from here,
Right.
you know, she moved here and we didn't really know what to do, and it was like last minute, so we were advised, okay, do a junior college first, because I think that's what my husband did, and then after that, go to a school. People don't really care where you went on your first and second year in college.
Right.
So, and she's like, okay, I heard I had to do communities, because I asked her, I said, how did you get into Santa Barbara again? I was like, I forgot because we weren't here. And she was like, oh, Mom, I did a lot of community services. And then she worked in Beijing, and she did a whole global studies.
Wow.
Her course were global studies. And I don't know, they just accepted her. That was really...
So she had done 2 years at a community college.
Yes, she did in San Diego.
Great, that's great.
Yeah. So
and I always tell students,
yeah.
no one's ever going to ask you where you started college,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
if that's where you end up starting, it's totally fine. When people say, where did you go to college? What do they mean? Where did you
Yeah.
graduate?
Yeah.
And it's not that you need to hide it, but
Yes.
it's the final product that they're looking for. So
Yeah.
in California, community college is definitely a good way to get to the UCs. But what I would say, again, let's go back to those 2,200.
Yes. Yeah.
There's so many colleges out there. And I'll tell you, I had a student literally yesterday in my office who had applied to, I didn't work with him, he had applied to Santa Barbara, Davis, and Irvine. He was not admitted to any of them. His test scores were solid, but his grades were not so great. And he goes to a big public school in the LA area. Public schools in California, the counselors in public schools are responsible for over 600 students per counselor on average. It's like impossible for them to get the information to the kids that they really need to get.
That's true.
So that's why people, come and work outside of the school system with someone like me. The good news is there's still other choices for him. We're still not to May 1st. May 1st is the deadline to make a decision, right, where you're going to go. There's still options open. Honestly, by the time he left my office, I had texted someone at a college that I've worked with for years.
I know.
He had waived the application fee. The kid went home and sent in his application.
So
he's going to get a scholarship. It's literally going to cost him less than it would have cost his family for him to go to a UC.
What? Oh, that's so
Yeah,
nice.
that's a really good story.
You're advising and you're helping people. You're helping all these students.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have that whole thing? I mean, how did you go about this whole college thing, Deb? You have to tell us. I mean, so now she was accepted. Now she's like, at school. What is the next thing that was stressful after that?
I think figuring out how we were going to
did you do
transfer everything across
U-Haul
state lines.
and brought all her stuff?
How did you do it?
Yeah, how did you do it?
Pack a lot of suitcases?
Well, it was a combo of a few things. We had 6 50-pound duffel bags, I would say. We shipped some things ahead, but also the bed and bath thing that you referenced before makes it a lot easier.
So you had to, I know, I've heard of this bed bath and beyond. Did you order in advance? Because everyone is ordering.
So what you do is you go there and they will print out a list for you about suggested things for your particular school. You tell them what school your child is going to, and they'll say, okay, here's your list of suggested things. You walk around the store and they give you a scanner and you scan all of the different things that you think you might be interested in, but what's great is you're not committing to anything.
Is that right?
So you don't pay for anything until you get to the school, when you go to the local bed and bath near your school, and they have everything on a table for you when you get there. And then you decide, oh yeah, we'll take this, no, we won't take this, and it's really organized. It's really incredible. They have it down.
I have an interesting question for you. So I went to school on the East Coast. When I grew up in LA, you could not buy a wool sweater. Like my mom
so true.
My mom and I flew up to San Francisco to buy wool sweaters to, make it work for me on the East Coast. So where do you buy clothes these days?
It's funny that you say that. I was told when people heard my daughter was going to school in Chicago, they said, do not buy the coat in LA.
Right.
They don't have it here.
They
do not have what you need. So my niece was already at school in Michigan, so I talked to her a lot and asked her what sort of coat. So I ended up buying it online, and that was the whole thing too. When were we going to bring the coat? For the Chicago winters. But so amongst bed and bath, Target, Amazon.
Oh, Amazon,
you get it.
How about the secondhand, like crossroads stores, like the secondhand. Can you like find stuff there? Like clothing,
I'm
right?
sure you could.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, to save money. Yeah, go to
Definitely.
secondhand clothes. Like crossroads stores, because you can find cheaper, and I think they have like really good sweaters as well there. Yeah, that's cashmere. I know. So remember, I know a lot of moms are watching. Remember, go to Bed Bath and Beyond. All right, so you can do that, and then choose whatever. And then when you go to the Bed Bath and Beyond, where your kids are going to college, that's where you pick up the things that you really need. So you don't have to like order right away, right? You don't have to order like right away, or you should order.
You go over the summer, a month before or something like that.
Oh my God! So you don't have to bring all this stuff.
No,
okay,
no, that would be way too
That's
much.
what I did.
That's what you did.
Schlepped boxes across the country. Like we packed stuff up and shipped it.
Wow.
It was horrible.
Okay, so
That
remember,
gets expensive.
It was horrible.
That gets really expensive.
So
the shipping.
remember, if your kids are going to the East Coast, school in the East Coast, don't buy.
You need closed-toe shoes.
Yeah.
Those shoes are essential.
Yeah, you won't get anything here in California. So go and wait before you go to your school. So so as I mentioned, Evelyn is the founder of Magellan College Counseling. Evelyn, can you tell us a little bit about like when you started the company and how you started it? I want to talk about your company now because it's important.
So I graduated from Johns Hopkins, which is in Baltimore. I grew up in the Valley, and so when I came home in the mid-90s, I had the job that I was trained to do, but my sort of side activity was I interviewed kids for Hopkins for like 15 years. And the problem was, it was really interesting, but I just watched the stress level ratchet up to this really intense, like, oh my God, my life is not going to be the same if I don't go to this school. And I thought that was really horrible. So in 2010, I basically took a year off and I went through the UCLA Certificate in College Counseling program. And I got my training.
Yeah.
And so I started Magellan in 2011, and then sort of people just started to join me. So I think in 2012
amazing.
I think it was 2012, Debbie joined me, and then Susie joined me the following year. So we have 6 counselors here in LA, and we have 1 in Chicago. And we actually, the cool part is, because they're teenagers, they don't care where you are, so we have clients all over the country, and we see them on our phones and on our computers.
I know, this is one thing good about now. I mean, even if I hate, the whole social media thing, but now you can Skype and use,
Zoom.
You can
We
Zoom. You Zoom with a lot of, kids, and you can just like get in touch with them just just like that.
Yeah.
That's like amazing.
But I would say this, if you have friends who are looking at hiring a college counselor, I know, Deborah, you're going to work through the process with your daughter on your own, which is awesome. And just listening to the way you did it with your older daughter is exactly the right way. What she wanted was the primary driver of the process. But I would say this, if you're going to hire someone to work with, make sure it's someone who's qualified to do what they're doing. So, for example, I have this.
How do you know if you're qualified or not?
So here's the thing. I have 2 questions.
Yeah, but like all these guys, well, how about this guy? What's his name?
Yeah, Rick Springer.
Was he qualified?
Well, so here's the funny thing. I never met him. I never even heard the name before 3 weeks ago. He was not a member of any of the professional organizations that I spend a lot of time, that all of our counselors spend a lot of time. We meet college people. We travel. Like, I'm on a plane tomorrow night. I'm touring the University of Delaware. We spend weeks on the road. I have personally visited over 325 colleges in the last 7 years. It's kind of like that's a full-time job. And the reason that that's important is when a student and a family comes to me and they say, we really want UCLA, we really want this, and this, I'm able to break that down and say, so what I'm hearing that you really want is you want school spirit, you want a big, sporty, spirited school, you want a school where you could change your major, and literally just turn from one building to another. And I can come up with other schools that are not quite so difficult to get into so that we can help students balance their list. Honestly, for us, it's all about getting to the spring of their senior year or December, as Deborah's daughter did, and getting good results. Because the worst experience for a parent to have is to have a kid apply to 3 colleges and get into 0. Like, you don't want to see your kid cry 3 times in one day, right? That's a bad result. So what I said about community college, it's a great option for some kids, but for kids who are ready to go to a 4-year college, trust me, I can find one for them. Literally any GPA, I can find a 4-year college that will take that student.
What is the difference though? Sorry, what's the difference though between community college and like going to a real college?
Well, community college is a real college. Okay. Like the coursework that you're doing is college level work. And I always tell people, I will tell you when I have a bias. My bias is I had a 4-year experience. I started freshman year in dorms, and the people that I am friends with today, and we're talking 30 years ago, are the people who were in my dorm and the people who were in my sorority. So shout out to my fees. So I bet they might be watching. So, I feel like you have sort of one chance to have that freshman experience. And if you miss it, and if you do 2 years at a community college and transfer in, you will never have that freshman experience.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
That's so true.
It's okay because you'll get the degree. Yeah. But it's just a different experience.
That's true.
And so to me, what that means is, don't get stuck on the UCs because there's 9 of them. Okay, here's the numbers. Listen, it's just math. There's 500,000 graduating high school seniors in California every year. There's 500,000 graduating high school seniors. There's 70,000 spots in the UC freshman class. That's it.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
But is it?
It's a math problem.
Yeah, but it's true that they give priority. Is it true that they give more priority to students who are not from the country?
No. So it's a good question.
Right?
That's an always question. Yep. Okay. So I've looked at the numbers recently. Yes. There's 70,000 spots in the entire UC system freshman class, and 25% of them system-wide go to out-of-state kids. So 500,000 high school seniors graduating in California, 53,000 of those spots go to California kids. Just think of it that way. There's enough room for 10%. That's it. And that, so you could get a letter in your senior year that says, you've been identified as top 15% in your class, and that guarantees you a spot at the University of California. But it doesn't guarantee you a spot at Santa Barbara or
Not
UCLA.
Your first choice or second choice.
That's right. And it might be your 9th choice. Right. So it does guarantee you a UC degree, but it might be not the campus of choice.
Oh, wow.
So you kind of have to look outside the system.
So, you have to let us know, like, where can we find that college? The whole college? Do you know all the college lists? Because I only know like a few of them. Like when we were talking, I was talking to my friends this weekend. They were like, okay, so and so is number 1 school, and this is number 10. This is number, does it even, like, for you when you were looking at, when you were trying to find that school for, for Deb? I mean, was it like important that it has to be like ranked number this or number 10 or number top 20 school? Was it important for you?
We didn't talk about rankings at all. We really didn't. She wanted a student body that was intellectual but also very social. She also wanted a school that had a big sports program where she could, that was very spirited and rah-rah. She wanted to be a part of Greek life. She wanted access to a big city. So when we put that all together,
and she wanted to freeze her tuchus off, right? No, I'm kidding.
Well, my husband went to Wisconsin.
Oh, got it.
Her grandparents are from Chicago. The Midwest has been on the brain for a long time in our family. But when once we really fleshed it out and talked about all the factors, then it became smaller and smaller as sort of how many schools kind of fit those criteria. Right. So if you really dissect it and say, what kind of experience, what do you want to study? Are you somebody who knows already what they want to study? That can help narrow it down. Maybe a school offers a specific program. There's a lot of factors, but it does get smaller and smaller once you start to dive into it.
Oh my, that's good. It's good. In her case, it's really good that she asked her. It's not her choice.
That's
what
right.
I mean?
That's right.
Like a lot of parents are like, my husband,
what we're doing.
he's like an alumni from UCLA. He's like, okay, you have to go to UCLA. You have to go.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, no, let her like decide where she wants to go.
Right.
Let her.
And let me tell you, the bigger problem
Yeah.
with that is, he's sort of telling her, if it's not UCLA, you're disappointing me.
Yes, I know,
Ouch.
right?
Ouch.
So I'm followed what Deborah did. She followed what her daughter is passionate about, the school that she really wants to go to, right? So you basically just helped her, but you made her really, do it all and do the whole decision, right?
Yeah, a lot of what we did was just emotional support and
Yeah.
trying to be the
Be
cheerleader.
That's
be
great.
just
Cheerleader
the
is great.
cheerleader and the emotional support for your child.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like, wait, are we like done? Hold on.
That's it.
Hey, hold on. Wait, it's so fast.
Crazy.
Okay, I know that you want to. If you have any questions, we are live right now, and you can send me all the questions that you want to know. But we are going to continue next week. I know I have more questions. Actually, I have it on my phone. But next week, please watch again. As I know that there's a lot there who
So
wants
much
to
to
know
talk
more.
about.
So much to talk about this whole college advice. So I'll see you guys next week. And don't forget to give love to the next person that you see after the show. I'll see you guys. Bye. Cheers. Cheers.
You're listening
I
to
told you, it's
Polished
super
Woman,
fast.
only on LA Talk Radio.